You there? You're finally asleep. Oh my god. I couldn't see you before, but here you are. Well, more like you couldn't see me, because you were asleep, and obviously I live in the sleeping world. I live in the world of dreams. They call me they call me the Dreaminator. Yeah, that's what they call me. They call me the Dreaminator. And, well, I have a reputation, should we say, for being there when you go to sleep. Some would say like the Hat Man, but I'm not the Hat Man, I'm the Dreaminator, obviously. Of course you've heard of me before, right? 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 Okay. Well, today we've got some stuff to do. Namely, I need to talk to you about your dreams recently, because they've been a little weird from what I can remember. Let me take a look here in my book. Yeah, a little weird recently, so we need to talk about that. Let me grab my pen. Sorry, it's behind you. And then I can just we can get started on discussing your dreams here. So, just write down your name actually. And can you tell me how long do you think you've been asleep for? Okay. And how much sleep do you want to get per night? You can tell me tonight specifically, but per night on average, how much you're looking for, because that's kind of what we're here to discuss in terms of your dreams. Okay. So with that amount, we probably can't schedule in too many nightmares. We can probably only schedule in about 1 a month, so that we don't want to upset your sleep balance, because if you don't sleep enough, you get a sleep debt, and then a sleep debt agent has to come to your house and talk to you about that, and obviously we don't want that to happen, do you? So we're trying to stop that. Okay. So, if you had to tell me on a scale of 1 to 100, how good has your sleep been recently? Like, how does the quality of the sleep, how easily have you fallen asleep, and how much you've woken up in the night sort of factor all of that in, and then give me a score. Personally, I'd probably say about 77 for me, but I just kind of I like those numbers. So, okay. And if you could only eat one fruit for the rest of your life, what fruit would it be? This is vital the question. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's not a bad choice, I'll tell you that much. I've definitely had much worse. Okay. So now we have that down. Let me just quickly message my boss. So they know your case is open now, so we can sort of get on to really talking about it. In terms of dreams, how have they been recently, from your perspective? Like good, bad? Have you enjoyed them? Do you remember them? Okay. And don't count this one. Yeah. This is a special occasion. Special occasion. Okay. Yeah, of course. And if you were forced to have one specific dream for the rest of your life, which isn't going to happen, but if you had to, which one would you not want? Like, which would be your lowest on your list? Yeah, that makes sense. I probably wouldn't want that either, to be honest. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Okay. If you can hear like a sort of ambient buzzing fan noise, by the way. You left your fan on as you went to sleep, which is fine. There's nothing to worry about. I'm just letting you know. So you might wake up a little cold, but yeah, okay. So how do you sleep at the moment in terms of per day? Like, is there a sort of balance that you have going on? Like, do you do more at the weekend to try and catch up? Do you do like, is there one day where you sleep less, one day where you sleep more, that sort of thing, or is it all pretty average? Okay, so in terms of dreams, we kind of want to talk about what you actually want out of your dreams for the next sort of month or so. I'll probably be back in about a month. So what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for in a dream, right? Because for me, I definitely can sort of see a lot of different things that could, you know, could be like the thing you want in your dream. Personally, I'd quite like a dream where I'm a tree. I've never dreamed that I'm a tree, and I'd quite like to experience that at some point in the next month or so. So that's what I said for my one, but obviously you can choose anything. And you can say multiple as well. I just really am into the tree idea. So if you just let me know the sort of like themes, elements, characters that you might want in your dream. I think I'd say stray away from anyone you know, and maybe stray away from dead people as well, or people that aren't in your life anymore, just because that can cause problems for some people. Some people it helps, a lot of people it doesn't. So definitely worth thinking about not implementing those. That's sort of company policy, but we can definitely implement some cartoon characters, something like that, or just like fictional characters in general if you want that, or OCs or something like that, you know. Okay. And of course, themes, locations, objects. I once had someone who told me they wanted a dream, and they wanted their dream every single night to be that they got up out of bed, sat down on the porch, looked out onto a jungle, and drank a glass of orange juice. Which, you know, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But personally, I don't think I'd want that dream every single night. But it is what it is. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know. And how many of these elements have you had last month? Within the last month of dreams, how many of these elements have you had show up that you listed? You know, doesn't have to be an exact amount, but how many in general have you sort of seen, I guess? Pardon me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So looking at this, there's a certain amount of hours that you've stated for sleep, but the amount of dreams that we've got here don't quite line up. So the way that sort of dreaming works is that you dream in a specific cycle of your sleep, which is a certain amount of hours, and depending on how many hours you want, that's how, you know, how much sleep you're getting. You've stated an amount of hours that you want that is higher than the amount that you average, which means that we're going to need to, first of all, find hours for you to sleep, and second of all, figure out how many of those hours are dreaming hours, and then allocate dreams. So if you give me a second, I'm just gonna calculate that. Okay. So I think we can do that, but rather than averaging the same amount every single day, we're going to have to find a couple free days a week, probably 2, maybe 3 free days a week, the way you can sleep a little longer. Either going to bed earlier or sleeping in is fine, but you have to sleep about an hour or so longer, 2 hours longer for those days. And those will be dreaming hours. So currently we have enough for about I'd say 70, maybe 60% of your dreaming hours. We have enough dreams allocated for that. So we need to come up with about, I'd say, to be on the safe side, we'll go for 35% more dreams. They may not all show up because it might be slightly extra than what you need, but it's better to be extra. So we're going to go for 35% more dreams that we need to allocate to that time, which means that you need to come up with 35% more dreams, or I need to come up with 35% more dreams with your help, that we can allocate to that time. Of course, if you don't get that sleep, those dreams will become a part of your sleep debt, and you'll probably have a sleep agent come in your waking hours and try to calculate your sleep debt and figure out how to get that back. And those dreams will be allocated there, so I won't need to come back for that, because those have already been allocated to those hours. See what I'm saying? So if you just want to tell me a couple more themes or characters that could show up. So if we're going for 35% more dreams, we could probably do one recurring character, and we'll go for 3 recurring themes. So I'm going to say that I need 4 themes. Give me 4 themes, give me 6 characters, I think would make sense. Or 6 characters or objects. Could have a dream about an object or like experience. Oops, sorry. So 6 characters, objects, experiences. Not 6 of each, but 6 including those. And then in terms of themes, I want 4. And then I can craft some dreams for you out of those. So yeah, let's go for that. So we'll go for the first, we'll say character, but no, it's character, experience, object, yeah. So the first one of those, okay, and the second one, good, and can I get the third as well? Have you got a 4th? Need a bit more time, that's fine. Any themes while we're waiting for that one? Yeah, you know them all? Okay. Rattle them, quick fire. 1. Okay, 2. Okay, 3. 4. Good, okay, back to that character. We need 3 more characters. Or experiences, or places. Objects. Okay. And 2 others. Okay. So with all of those characters, themes, places, objects, we can definitely craft some dreams here. So I'm going to do that in a bit, but we first need to talk a little bit about any leftover dreams from last month. If you have, do you have any leftover dreams from last month? You do, about 10%. So did you miss sleep, or did we just go over last month? A bit of both. Okay, so from what I can see, your sleep debt is not high enough that someone's going to come and talk to you about it, but you are going to need to stay on top of that, because they will. They will, if you're not careful. And in terms of, yeah, so that's sleep debt. In terms of leftover dreams, you have 10%. We could reuse some of those this month, unless you're looking for something different. If we're not going to reuse them, they will go towards sleep debt, so whenever you resolve any future sleep debt, those ones will be used up first. So it's up to you, which you'd rather. Did you have any leftover nightmares as well? Oh, you had 1 leftover nightmare. Okay, let me real quick. Okay, so with that leftover nightmare, I can just remove that entirely. I can just axe that, because I think it's not necessary. So I've removed that, so you don't have to worry about that. So we could just add these to this month's dream, because they're all dreams now, or we could add them to sleep debt. It's up to you. Okay. And then in terms of the dreams you did experience, okay, we had that. So we need to calculate the nightmares. I think you're due for 1 this month, because you had quite a few last month, which is also why we were able to axe that other one. So I think you only need to have 1 this month. And we can, is there any specific day that you want that? because we can try and schedule it. It's not necessarily always going to be that way, but we can try and, especially if you get sleep debt, we can try and schedule it for a specific day that maybe you're not busy or whatever, so it doesn't interrupt your sleep in any sort of way, or, you know, make you have a weird day. So when would be best for that? Because I think if we schedule it, especially because you only have one, you can sort of know when that's coming up. Or maybe it's better for you if we don't, you know, different people, different strokes for different folks. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Let me just do that. And yeah, let's take a look at these dreams then. So we've got a couple of themes and elements here. Are we thinking we could do a sort of, I know the movie that came out recently, that Backrooms thing, were we wanting a liminal space type dream? We could do that for your nightmare if it freaks you out, because that might not be too bad. If we do the liminal space for the nightmare, we can remove any monsters or any chasing, but we will have to include falling. We'll have to have a falling scene, but there won't be any monsters or any chasing. It will just be liminal space and there'll be some falling. So we could do that. Okay. And then in terms of dreams that we could do, well, it's really up to you. I see we've got a sort of cat here. We could implement that as a recurring character, sort of Alice in Wonderland, do you know what I mean? The Cheshire Cat. We could do something like that, have him show up in a couple dreams, maybe give you some words of wisdom or something, and then have that all culminate in a big sort of big dream on one of your... Sorry about that. Had a bit of dream turbulence there. I forgot what we were talking about. But I think we were going over the types of dreams that you were having, right? Okay. So I remember we talked about the liminal one, and we talked about the recurring cat, but I don't think we got past there. So let's see if there's anything I can add here to smooth this over a little bit. I could add... I could add a fictional character like Germa into your dreams if you'd like. He can show up. I'm going to have him show up in every dream, I think. I'm going to have him show up in every dream. And the reason I'm going to have him show up in every dream is he's going to be like a cameo, like a side character. He's there very briefly and then he goes away, and that can sort of fulfill the character requirement for every single dream that has one. Which means that we don't actually have to add any major characters to every single dream, which makes this process a little smoother. Okay. And then we're going to do the sort of, I think we're going to have flitting dreams. Not fleeting, flitting, like back and forth, right? Dreams this month, which means that you're going to sort of have very, very small, very quick dreams. So your dream is going to evolve very quickly. It's going to feel like one continuous dream, but when you actually think back after you wake up, it's going to make no sense. Which I feel like is a lot of dreams, but very specifically this month, it's going to be all of them, right? It's going to be that type of dream, which should be fine, hopefully. If you're not okay with that, then yikes. But that's what we're doing, so that makes that kind of easy. Okay. Is there anything else that we can really do to make this easy? Just before I craft the rest of these dreams in my own time. Let me think. No, not sure. Okay, so I think it's okay from here, unless there's something you want to add. Places or objects. Do you want a watch? Tick, 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 tick. Maybe not. We can add a fan. We've got one already. Clearly, it's going on. But we can add one to your other dreams as well, sort of make that a continuous element, make it feel a bit more grounded. And we can have one take place in a swimming pool. I think a swimming pool makes sense. Swimming pool definitely makes sense as the type of place that you'd have a dream. Okay, we'll add one in a swimming pool. Okay. Well, I think that about does it for your dreams here. I think that should be okay. Let me just check that there's nothing I've missed. I don't think so. Okay. No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, well, I'll close your account and set up the dream constants. Okay, that should be fine. And then we'll, yeah, that looks fine to me. So that's all set up. I need to finish the rest of your dreams, obviously, before tomorrow night, but that's fine, I'll do that. And then we can, yeah, we can do that, which means that we can then go and leave you slightly early here with one of the leftover dreams from last month. I think that works fine. So the rest of this night will be those dreams, and then we'll move on to the new ones after that, because obviously they're not fully done yet. Does that make sense? That means I can let you go early, and the entire dream won't just be watching me do this, because we have some left over. I think that makes sense to me. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do that. So if you, I'll leave you here. You can head off to that dream. The door's over there. And I'm going to finish your dream schedule. Okay? Yeah, if that's okay. So if you can head off now. Hope you have a good rest of your night, good rest of your month. I'll see you next month when we have to schedule more dreams. Yeah? Okay. Good night. Good night. Have a good rest of your dreams.